Mind is a great tool for fantasy. And fear is very much about fantasy, about imagination. So, in a way, it is even the power of mind. It is even the purpose of mind. A typical example there is somebody sees something and thinks, oh, it's a snake. And then he looks a little closer and then he sees it is just a rope. So, good, it's just a rope, no problem. But if it would have been a snake, then better that mind does not really start thinking, oh, I'm seeing something, it looks like a snake, but maybe it's just a rope, and so, So, no, the first thing mind needs to do, like in the biological build-up of our system, is to think it's a snake, so that you take a distance, first of all, and then look again, and then see, okay, it's only a rope, okay. So this is a little bit, what mind has to do. So whenever you think of some problem, then automatically mind will start fantasizing about it, will start thinking how it might even become much bigger and much worse, and what other problems might even, join the club and start making it all even bigger. This is mind. So mind control is essential if you want to get rid of fear, because it's the natural function of mind to make fear bigger. And in a sense you can say we all have fear. No? Very often heroes in the stories, they will say that, okay, you think I'm a hero, but even I also have fear. I just go beyond it. I just don't look at it. For that they need mind control. If they have no mind control, they cannot do that. So, fear is a little warning, which is good, but beyond that, it usually is a very bad advisor. It's really not telling you much that you need. And so you need to calm down. The moment you see your mind going into these things, okay, wait a minute. First, I want to make sure that I am completely calm. Then again, I will think about it. Then again, I will look at it and see whatever I can do and accept whatever I can, control, because there's so many things that are out of our control. When we think about the future, like worry about the future, then we are desperately trying to build this future the way we want it and imagine it that it will be like that. And all our fears, we try to find some answer for it. You can do that. But if you really analyze your life, you will see that the really important things in your life, you have not planned for them. So why try to plan the future so much? Like maybe finding your life partner, finding the right job, finding the right house, all these things. Usually you didn't really plan that. Those things just happen. The most important things in your life, they just happen. It's only the details that you can try to manage, but if you don't know what's coming, what are you going to do about the details? Not much. So the most you can do with the future is be a little bit ready, flexible, grasp opportunities, things like that when they come. But also there, we like to think about opportunities. What will happen if I win $1 million? What will I do? It's the same thing. What will I do when my house burns down? Some people think about that.
That's why you have insurance.
Huh? That's what?
That's why you have insurance.
Yes, that's why you have insurance. Yes. We try to get all kinds of insurances. Yeah, you're very right to bring it up. Insurance, In many ways we are trying to find insurances. That's very correct. No? That's very correct. No? But there are none. I mean, some satellite might fall from the sky right now and boom, finished. You have no idea. Statistically, it's very relevant what I'm saying right now. You should become very afraid because really it can happen. So a lot of things can happen and there's no insurances, and you should be happy about that. That's what I said in the beginning. But so you have to learn to stop mind there. You have to learn to say, oh, I'll see. Whatever happens. Okay. Let's just look at what we can do today. Let's just work with what we have today. Let's not think too much ahead. This is something you may have to tell your mind many times in a day. Forget about the future. So, but when mind has this habit of worrying, when people are there who really worry a lot, then they need to learn that a little bit step by step. And they can learn it. Even the most fearful person in the world can learn to become fearless, step by step. And in that way there are many good examples. Also, even on TV these days you can see people, maybe they are very afraid of spiders or elevators or something like that, like the one I remember on spiders, arachnophobia or something. This person would not go in any room before somebody, usually the husband, checked the room to see if there was no spider. So this person's really a little crazy. And so in the program, first of all, the person had to enter a room in which there was let's say a glass container completely closed, and in this glass container there was a dead spider. And already that was quite something for this person, because for the first time maybe they had to come close to this dead spider and look at it, and they knew it was dead, they knew it was completely closed, so it couldn't get to them. But so this was a first step. And then a second step, maybe some cobwebs, guaranteed without any spiders in them, they have to touch maybe, or something like that. So very slowly it works, but in the end of this program, I remember very well, this person had big tarantulas walking over their body, which most people here in this room I think would not do just like that. So that person became from very afraid of spiders to being not afraid of spiders at all. So in that way also we can learn and we can teach ourselves, and that's where Rasa Sadhana comes in, where we can start doing little exercises with our fear, and this way become less fearful. And that depends what you can do, what you want to do, or where your fear is. But you can yourself see, I really have a problem there, so maybe I can do something, step by step, make myself a program, maybe get some help to do that also, maybe not needed, and do it. If you are very afraid of your financial situation, many people are worrying about their money, and you can afford it, give away all your money. Maybe you have 10,000 euros on your account or something. Okay, that's what you got. But you have a job, you can earn more money. If you really feel that you are worrying a lot about the 10,000 euros and you want to move on spiritually, give it away. A very good exercise. Find some good use for it somewhere, and that will teach you. You want to make it even a little more difficult, get into debt. It's the best thing. There you learn it. So in that way we can talk a little more about Rasa Sadhana, but basically you can there work with fear. And then there is also, of course, meditation. Regular meditation will make your mind more calm and make the fear less. And the more then you meditate, the more deep your meditation goes, the more you will really learn that you are eternal, that there is nothing to be afraid of, and all these things I was talking about before. But basically for mind already, just doing some mantra meditation or some other meditation can be very helpful. And then there are some special mantras also there which can help mind. And I will name two. The first one is very, very good, very powerful, and it goes like this. Om, no problem. Om, no problem. This is very, very efficient because it will create a little bit of joy. It's funny to sing something like that. And joy is an enemy rasa of fear, which produces fire, and so your vata will go down. You will have a little laugh over, your imaginary problems. And that's basically, a very good thing to do. Laugh with it. Whenever you see your mind going out of control, laugh your heart out. It's a very important thing. But okay, apart from that one, there's also a real mantra usually used for fear, and it is Kali mantra. And if we have some time in the end, we can chant it together. I'll just chant it once so you hear it. It goes Om Ring Kring Kalikaye Namaha Om. So this is a different kind of game where in the sound syllables you have a particular effect on your mind, on your body, on your energy, which will make the fear less. And you will also connect to this deity called Kali, which many of you may not know, but in India is very well known. And you may certainly already have seen her. She is a little strange in the way that she always goes like this. She sticks out her tongue at everybody. And she is the spouse of Kala, which is time. So her husband is time. She is in love with time. And if you are in love with time, then you are also in love with death. Because time brings death and brings birth and brings this eternal game. The truth about time is that time is not about seconds. Time actually never moves on. Time always is eternal. So if you can love time, you can be like Kali. So in this way, Kali can help you to remove your fear of everything that might change. Because actually all fear is about things that might change. You are having something and you don't want it to change. So learn to accept change. Learn to accept that nothing is forever through working with Kali. This is the use of this mantra. And so then we come really to the most essential one to work with, which is the ego, if you really want to work with fear. Fear is like Maya being afraid of Maya. Illusion being afraid of another illusion. It is nothing more than that. So, if you can see life as a game and not take it seriously, and see that this game is an illusion, just for the fun of it, then you will not have this fear. But this demands that you grow spiritually, and to really see that requires deep meditation. requires to clean out your subconscious mind of all the fears that are there. Because truly, it is not that easy. Some fears are there inside you and you have no idea about them, but they still affect you. Maybe these fears were created by your parents. If they were very worrying about you from very early childhood, for many years, they may have produced in you a very fearful attitude, which is still affecting you today. This is in your subconscious mind. You don't remember anymore how worried and afraid your mother or father was at the time, but still that effect is there. And if you believe in reincarnation, then you may have, fears from past lives also. Maybe in last life you died in a rather particular fashion, not very agreeable, not very maybe knowing about it in advance, maybe very sudden. So this also may affect you. And the only way to deal with that is in deep meditation. Then I have explained before, these fears will come, and if you can stay away from it, if you can just remain in the witness and just witness them until they go, then they really will be gone. And if it doesn't work the first time, maybe it will need another time, but usually not so many times are needed to encounter such fears and let them go. And then they really are gone and they no longer affect you. From there you will really develop courage. Courage is not about thinking, oh, I am very strong, I can handle it. That's usually where people find courage. Or I have many friends, or I have a big bank account, or all these things to which we attach ourselves. That is usually where people get rid of their fear. But true courage comes from inside. True courage comes from inside. True courage comes from the understanding that there's nothing to lose. A real courageous warrior who kind of runs into the battlefield, runs into the enemies without showing any fear, that's a guy or a girl who's got nothing to lose. If you are in there, centered enough, then you really will have nothing to lose. Because you will know that nothing really gets lost and everything anyhow gets lost. Nothing of value gets lost. And everything which really does get lost is actually not having much value. Then you will really be able to laugh with it. And then you will really be able to reduce the fear in others. Because love also is very powerful to help others to be less fearful. So that's also a little hint. If you are feeling a little bit afraid and you can't handle it, seek out some loved ones, some friends, family, whoever. They may help you. Just being with them may already reduce your fear. Actually, they may also see some solutions that you are no longer seeing because you are so much in a panic that you can't think straight. That's the main thing. If you are in this mood of fear, then you can't think straight. Then you are continuously imagining the problem and not really having any more energy left to think about the solution. And maybe there is a very obvious solution, and so you go to your friend and you explain about the problem, and then they'll say, oh, you just do it like this, no problem. Oh, I didn't think of that. Why didn't I think of that? All day I was thinking about this, but that simple solution I did not see it. That was because the fear was so big you could no longer do anything else but be afraid. So other people are very important, and people who have a lot of inner peace really can help a lot with people that are afraid. So it requires growth. I mean, it's about understanding what makes you happy also. Like everything we do, everything to which we are attached is there because we think it's important for our happiness. But actually the things that are really important for your happiness are not the things that you should be afraid to lose, are not the things that are easily lost. It's not ice cream which is going to be very important to your happiness, or it's not your bank account, it's not all these things. What is really important to your happiness is the capability to be together with others in a nice way. That is very important for your happiness. But that is something you don't so easily lose. What is important for your happiness is the capability to create something special out of something really normal, which is basically what is art. The art of life means you can take something that is actually nothing special and you make something special from it. That also, if you have it, is very difficult to lose. To make art, to make music, to sing, all these things, usually, once you have it, you have it. So it's also a growth there. You start developing interests which are a little more different. You start changing your attachments towards things that are more valuable, and in that way also more lasting, not so easily lost. So it's a change of desires, of attachments, and it definitely also is having a little less desires. I'm not saying having no desires. But if you have an ocean of desires, then always somewhere on this ocean a storm will be threatening. Always somewhere you will, have reason to be afraid. You have something to worry about. If you have 100 projects, then at least, one will be in great trouble. So if you just cultivate a little pond of your desires, then the chance that this pond remains calm and nice and the sun is shining and the fishes are swimming and everything is going well is quite there. And so there's much less to worry about. So to reduce the number of things that you think are important for your happiness is very essential. Better focus on just a few things. And that becomes easy if you see how much all these desires are just a matter of grasping, desperately grasping for something to hold on to. Well, actually, what do you need to hold on to? So just focus on a few things, and then it will be so much easier to manage. It will be so much easier to really do there what you want to do, develop whatever it is that you want to develop, without needing to be afraid of it. And then it really will also satisfy you, and you really get something out of it. Rather than running, after 100 desires and only getting very limited satisfaction there, but a lot of worry, you start, walking after a few desires and really, being able to do it. So that makes life more easy. So there's such a clear link between desires and fears. Like the desires of the chakras, you can easily link them to the different kinds of fears. The desire of first chakra and the fear of first chakra is security and insecurity. The fear of death, the fear of disease, the fear of pain, the fear to lose your money, the fear to lose your, in insurance. Yeah? That's first chakra fear. Then the second chakra fear is the fear that whatever pleasurable thing you see coming towards you, in the end will not really come to you. Like maybe you're thinking, tonight we're going out with some friends, we made this plan and it's going to be fantastic and so on, but still you fear it's not going to happen. They're not going to pick you up or something. And that's actually also a different thing. That then also becomes a third chakra problem. Because if they're not picking you up, what does that mean? So to lose your social status is another fear. To lose your social support is another fear of third chakra. Then in fourth chakra, you can fear for those you love. This is of course very natural. You will fear maybe for your children or your family, in a broader sense, your friends, whatever, to which you are attached. Can even be a whole group of people that you love. In fifth chakra, your desire is for understanding. Your real fear there is that understanding is not really bringing any understanding. Your real fear there is that however much you understand, you still won't get the point. Which is a good fear, because that is the truth. And then even in sixth chakra desire, the desire for meditation, the desire for enlightenment, you may also fear that you will give up, that you will not get there, that you will lose confidence, and that it will never happen, things like that. So fears and desires are very closely linked, and you can only truly get rid of it if you get rid of the desire, which to some extent also means that you have to live the desire. We've talked about that enough. So you need time to work with fear. But for the lower chakras, let's say, and especially in first chakra, the desire for security in a material sense, in the physical world, that is something you have to work on. Because that is really useless. And it's a big work. To lose the fear of death is a big job. But it can happen. It can come. One thing there to understand, karmically, is that the biggest fears that you are imagining, if you are imagining it in a very strong way, then the chance is very big that it will happen. Karma is a very strange thing. If you really imagine something well enough, then it will happen. That is the power of mind. It can create that thing. It will create a vibration, a ripple in time, and at some time that ripple will come back to you and this thing will happen. So if you are fearing to die of cancer, and not just having this occasional, idea, oh, maybe I'll die of cancer, but if you are really nurturing this idea, if you are really thinking about that a lot, if you're really imagining that you will have cancer and what will happen and, chemotherapy and all these things, then you are creating it. That is the rule. That is the law of karma. It may not happen in this life. Maybe it will happen next life. That is not, you cannot say. But it will happen. So, fear is a dangerous thing. The most important thing is to learn that every problem is a blessing. If you can see that, then also you will have no fear. Whatever causes you trouble, whatever brings you pain, is a true blessing. And that may be a little difficult to see, but again, if you analyze it, it becomes very apparent. There's the image of the rose bush. If you don't regularly cut a rose bush, it may live 3 or 4 years, and then it will fall apart. It will completely waste its energy in all kinds of directions and get lost. If you properly cut a rose bush, it can last 100 years. It will become strong. So this is also true for us. If now and then we are cut, if now and then we are stopped, if now and then we don't get what we want, we don't get what we desire, then we grow from that. We become less dependent on all these things, on all these attachments. And, well, because we have to we become more dependent on what really counts. Every problem is a blessing. Every problem is making you more spiritual. It may not feel like that. You may even feel that although that is true, sometimes it's just too much and you don't want any more of it. But even then, on the subconscious level, you are learning your lesson, even though you feel that at the moment this is really not needed. You're already having problems enough. You don't need another one. You don't need any extra stimulants to be more spiritual. Even then, it is working on the subconscious level, changing you, making you detach from everything to which you are attached, making you less of a slave and more of a man or a woman, more independent, more strong. So, if you look at your life like that, wow, then what is there to be afraid of? Actually, then you ought to be more afraid of all the supposedly good things that might happen to you, which is also pretty useless. So then fear goes.